kills the creator concept. You see what I'm saying? Because then you start to think, well, how can he handle all this? And it's constantly growing. And you see what I'm saying? That's just what will come in your mind, and where he literally tells you, you're his footstool. You see what I'm saying? So that's mean it's a relationship between us and him, and with them, with that expanding, and billions of suns and billions of planets and this and that, and it's just keep growing, and more planets are being made and more suns, through this hodgepodge of chaos, they call it. You see what I'm saying? It's just a lot. So that means that you're not special. That means that there's other lives, you know, on different places. So that means, are you really special? You know how we say the human race, he created, it's like a personal relationship. Like, oh, I took time to make a sun for them. I took time to make the moon. I took time to do this and do that. With them, with their universe mess, now it's not a personal relationship because it's billions of them. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta think about it. All right, let's keep it moving, y'all. All right, oh goodness, y'all know I lost where I was at again. European country, okay. Unfold, okay. What was that? Information technology, okay. Culture, and in this light, the story of the conquest gains a poignancy today as its consequences unfold across the world. Yeah, so they literally telling you they just went raped and robbed and murdered everything. That is why Karl Marx and the others have called it the greatest event in the history of the world. Well, of course it was. They took down the children of the Creator. All right, so I'm gonna read a little bit of this next chapter. It's called "What Cortez Didn't Know." All right, it says events moved so fast after Columbus that it is easy for us to treat the conquest almost as a fate uh, occupy, accompli. All right, it's like accomplish, I guess. So this paragraph literally told you something. So I'm gonna just tell y'all what it says. I'm gonna read it again. It says events moved so fast after Columbus that it is easy for us to treat the conquest almost as a fate accompli. So what that's saying is, when Columbus came here, and we were literally wiped out in 1 century, 100 years, if that. Just think about that. That's the same thing. So it's telling you that this is not, most time not gonna play. It's gonna hit and be over with. It's not. He's not gonna play no games. All right. A continent simply waiting to be appropriated by the winners of the game of history. But that is by no means how it appeared to those who were living at that time. The Spaniards, or the Native Americans, the discovery of the New World, as we call it from the European perspective, took place over quite some time. Centuries rather than years. I seriously doubt that. It unfolded in people's minds as well as in physical space. And it would be a mistake to imagine that in its early stage the Europeans had no idea that the vast and populous continent was waiting to be discovered. That's a lie. That's a lie. Judah done read several books where they literally was preparing to come over here. Columbus said that he was led not by a map but by a spirit. Oh, here's I'm gonna read this little footnote in the corner. It's a parrot, and it looks like squash. That's what it looks like. All right. The flora and fauna of the New World were objects of fascination and desire to the rich Europeans. Parrots and other exotic birds were much sought after, and the potato, native to the Andes became a staple of the European diet. So they never even had potatoes before. Yeah. Okay. Let me see where I was at. Yeah. Okay. For all the high culture of the Renaissance, there was still a creditor's age with underdeveloped ideas of geographically and comparative ethnology. Mm-mm-mm. Nothing in their past history had remotely prepared them for what was about to happen. Their understanding of creation was still underpinned by the Bible. Tuh, that's all they knew. And as we can see from maps painted in the years leading up to Columbus' voyages above, their conception of the physical world was still that of the classical geographers for whom Europe. So the only thing they knew about was Europe and Africa. They knew nothing of we were, well, they didn't know what it would look like, but they knew because if you ever read any of the ancient uh, Greek books, when they talk about the land of the gods, the pillars of Hercules, all those places, like you ever watch, um, what's his name? Jason and the Argonauts, when they went to a far distant land to get the golden fleece, of course they betrayed the people as, and they said they worship the Great Spirit. Of course they betrayed the people as white, but you know what they were talking about going to. They was coming here to steal the fleece, and how you know that that's what they was talking about was by the Hydra, the serpent, the dragon, which are native to this land. All right, let me keep it going. Okay. The Columbus voyage above their conception of the physical world was still that of the classical geographers from whom Europe, Africa, Asia constituted a tripartite world. I can't say the word, y'all. I'm sorry, but I just literally told y'all exactly what I said. They only knew about Europe, Africa, and Asia. They had no idea what this land looked like. They knew of it, but they didn't know what it looked like. They had no good instruments or maps, and even 20 or 30 years after Columbus, so they just told on themselves. I'm going to read this again. They had no good instruments or maps, and even 20 or 30 years after Columbus, the view still persists that would have been found. So that's telling you right there that Columbus was led, because they just told you they didn't have no maps, they didn't have no gauges, they had nothing to lead them over there. So how did they get here? And you know the lies. Oh, they was trying to find another trade route to China. So if you're going to China, which you could have just rode over land, how'd you end up going? Whatever. Y'all see what I'm saying? They're liars. Mm-hmm. Had no, okay. What have been found? Okay, including the Yucatan and Florida, were merely islands between Europe and Asia. Now they're trying to say that our land masses are smaller than theirs, and America's huge. So when the Pope divided the New World between Spanish and Portuguese zones of influence at the Treaty of Tordesillas. Sound like it says Tortitas. Tordesillas. That's what it says. Salas in 1494, 2 years after Columbus. He was really drawing an arbitrary line of longitude in a blank space with no anchor in reality. Huh. Like I said, boy ain't know where he was going. Boy got led to descend into the world of Cortez and his contemporaries. Then we have to imagine the world at progressive stages of a slow gathering of knowledge, a world where the space now occupied by the Americas was largely open sea, in which a cluster of islands were inhabited by a strange and Primitive people. Okay, so let's go back. They said in the beginning of the book that what they saw they couldn't even fathom. They was starstruck. They just was they couldn't understand what was going on. They couldn't figure out how these islands was floating in water. But now all of a sudden they're primitive. Liars. People not like us. Perhaps not even the same creation described in the Bible. Hello. All right, we got a note on the side. Let's read it. This map printed in 1489 shows the world according to the classical Greeks. 3 years before Columbus' first voyage, it suggested that by sailing west, one would come to China. Well, let's see. Let me look and see if they sailed west. Would they? So why would you sail west if you could just go straight over the land and hit China? Okay. Yeah. Okay. And yeah. Okay. Lord, Lord, Lord. I'll tell y'all. All right. I'm gonna read this. Well, this is the last paragraph right here. To some of the Native Americans. Oh, yeah. It says to some of the Native Americans were untouched by the word of God. What? Okay. It says to some the Native Americans were untouched by the word of God and had been debased by the devil. Okay. To others, they were a remnant from before the fall, living in an innocent long lost by the corrupt West. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the second sentence described it perfectly. Either way, it was almost impossible throughout this whole period for the indigenous people to be considered as humans. Wow. In their own right. The Europeans brought with them the baggage of centuries and Eurocentrism and Christian monotheism, which exposed one truth, one time, and one version of reality. A bunch of bullshit, excuse me. Artists such as Duer might have been impressed by primitive people's artistic works. We primitive though, right? Activists such as Las Casa by their humanity, conquistadors such as Caesar de Leon and Manso Sierra de Leguizamon, whatever, by their innate sense of justice, by the order lines of their states, by the rationality of their societies, but most treated them as inferior beings. Exactly. Well, we're going to see who inferior. You just wait. Europeans endlessly debated whether or not they had souls. Yeah, well, y'all the ones that didn't have souls don't have souls. Or were they people like them? Did their political organizations constitute civilization in the sense understood by Christians? So, okay, listen, y'all. I just want y'all to understand this. Okay, so they came here, found people with pigment, right, in their skin. But they knew of the Indians over there. Those people had pigment in their skin. They knew about the Africans. Those people had pigment in their skin. So what is so different about us that we don't have souls and all this other stuff? Why did they start the mess from the rip? The reason why they started it because they had to, from the beginning, they had to set the propaganda up so they can literally, do as the scripts say, where they would take our names, our land, our language, and everything, bring us down to beast like so they can sit and claim and say that they the children of the creator and everything. So that's what they did. So once they got that in their minds that we're going to treat these people as beasts and not as humans because we just came across the greatest discovery in the world and we're not giving it up. You see what I'm saying? This is crazy. All right, let me see. Did I read this? No, I didn't. Okay, here we go. Europeans endlessly debated whether or not they had souls. I did read this, or were people like them. Did their political organizations constitute civilization in the sense understood by Christians? And our people really are saying they Christian. This is crazy. Was their religion the direct work of the devil? No, y'all's are. Such arguments spawned a host of pronouncements, laws for Indians, rituals of submission, utopian texts, sermons, lectures, papal bulls. Yeah, exactly. And while the likes of La Casa asserted that the Indians had full human rights, the humanist Juan Gaines de Sepulveda saw them as barbarous and inhumane people. But we're not the ones running around murdering people, stealing their land, stealing their resources, and they're still doing it. But we're the barbarian. See, this it upsets me, but I gotta this is something I gotta work on. It's just not letting it. I mean, it should bother you, but you see what I'm saying. Right now, I'm trying to teach and get something across to our people. So I gotta get it. I'll get it under control. I pray about it all the time. Whose beautiful art was no proof of higher. That don't even make sense. So you telling me that our people had artwork and craftsmanship that they never seen, but it wasn't proof that we had a higher intelligence. Do you not know when you're building and cutting, that is mathematics? That means you have to be able to measure, divide. You see what I'm saying? And also level things off. So it don't make sense. Like if you really sit back and pay attention to what these people are saying, it doesn't make sense. How in the world could you say somebody's not intelligent, but we have buildings and monuments built that y'all still can't build them. Y'all can't even figure them out. Your machines can't build them, but you saying that we don't have intelligence, but y'all, okay. And see, this is what's going to happen. When that bell get took off of everybody's eye and they start realizing that, okay, I'm going to just read this again and I'm going to just show you. I'll just put it in a way where somebody that's blind don't see it, but then when the blinders are taken off, they see it and it's like, what? So I'm going to just go from there. So the guy that's Sepavita saw them as barbarous and inhumane people, right? So I'm a blind person reading it, whose beautiful artwork was no proof of higher intelligence. So right now I'm sleeping. I'm like, oh yeah, those guys, look at them. Look, they walked around with feathers on. That's right now. That's an ignorant mind. But now, they awaken and you read it again, and it's like, you read it and say, well, wait a minute. In the beginning of the book, you just said the stuff they created, you couldn't even. You was starstruck. You didn't know what to do. You like, wow, But now they dumb. So that right there, that's what's going to happen. The people are going to be like, y'all are lying, y'all. So y'all said this so y'all could do all this hideous and horrible stuff to these people. All right. For do not bees and spiders make beautiful things. Human beings cannot entirely emulate. See how to see the others is at the heart of our story. So I'm gonna explain this to y'all too. Who told you bees and spiders are not intelligent? See, this is what happened when you listen to a people that only think that they are superior or that they are, everything is beneath them. First of all, if you sit back and you pay attention to what bees do, how they construct their home, how they have a hierarchy. They have a hierarchy. The bees actually have a queen. They actually have a king too, because they kill them. But well, that's what they say. But I never seen it. But so you have, the highest. Then you have the I guess, what would you call a person under the king? I don't know. But you have the next underneath of the king and the queen, and then you have, I guess, whoever else is under them, and then you have your soldiers and stuff, and then you have, like your common folk, your builders and your workers and stuff like that, and they actually have a hierarchy. So how is that not intelligent? So you telling me that these bee animals are just spraying pheromones and all this order is set up? Come on, man. Think about it. Just like with spiders. A spider sets up and makes a web that works off of a frequency, vibration, a frequency. You gotta think about that. And then it goes into a den and it sits and it waits for this certain frequency to hit this web. And you telling me that this animal don't have no common, no don't doesn't have, you see, like a higher thought. And then you got to look at the like how they make their webs. The webs are not chaotic. They're made a certain way. You see what I'm saying? So you listen to these people, and everything that the Most High made has intelligence. Look at an animal. Why do you think, like, if you watch wildlife movies and a lion attacks a young oxen's calf, or oxen's calf, why do you think they gang up together to save that calf? You see what I'm saying? They have intellect. You know, you see, this is the thing. The problem is they'll tell you that a lot of certain animals, insects, just work off of or operate off of how do they put it? Not even a thought. It's more a like a computer. Like robots, and they don't say that they have, like a thought process or whatever. When a bee is not at the hive, the bee will still sting you if you bother it. It will fight you off. So how is that not intellect? The bee knows when somebody's around. You see what I'm saying? And just like even roaches, roaches know when people are around. Roaches know to go and hide when they see a shadow. You know, this is what I'm saying. Like they tell you that something doesn't have intellect, but you're not what you're not this creature, so you can't think for this creature. It's like telling somebody, oh, it don't hurt getting shot in the head. How do you know? You see, like they just tell you stuff and we just go, okay. No, it gets to a place where we gotta throw away the garbage and listen to the Father. The Father told you everything He makes thinks. There's no animal on this earth or no insect that's just a mindless, you know, thing running around. Don't have no consciousness. Everything has a conscience. Everything has a spirit. The bad thing is that we're so messed up in our head, we don't even realize that the animals praise the Most High, especially lions and wolves. You can hear them, they praise Him. You never notice a lion, he'll roar in the morning. He do that noise. They tell you, oh, he's letting another lion know that this is his territory. Now, well, he pees on the perimeter of his area to let the animal know that it's another male here. So that roar that he does, the morning, the evening, and at night, is a praise. Just like I get up, I pray in the morning, I pray in the evening, and I pray at night. It's a praise. And if you notice, almost every animal does it, except us. So, you know, we got to get out the mindset of these people, because this is why we zombies walking around dead, no life in us, because we listening to them. So my brothers and sisters, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this reading. If y'all want me to keep going, I will keep going. And what I'll do is I will literally start showing pictures. Oh wow. Hey, I just turned to this picture. It's on, what page is this? 83. Oh wow, this really got my attention. So I'm gonna read the note for it real fast. It says map of the Aztec city, Chetlan or whatever, published with Cortez second letter to Charles V, a woodcut of 1524. It may have been based on Aztec painting. Okay, guess what? See, this is how you know the Most High is working. What did I say in the beginning of the video about the letter J? The letter J was invented in what year? 1524. I had no idea I was going to turn to this page and see this. I had no idea I was going to read this note at the corner. But I am going to show y'all this picture because this is amazing. Wow. I want y'all to see this, and I'm going to go through this thing slow. So look at the landmass. Look at this. So what I'm about to tell y'all is that, remember the Most High said his land is the center of the earth. Remember that, the heart of the earth. Yeah, remember this, right? Look. Look at the water. Look at the flow of the water. Don't this look like that earth pond that Kondrop put up? Look at it. Don't it look like it, y'all? The center of the earth. Look. Hold on, y'all. I have my hand on my knee. My arm on my knee. Look at this. Capitive. I can't read this, but just look at this. And look at their art. Tell me, these people get draw, man. But look, but you notice the people are dark on the little canoes. It looks like a sea creature. Y'all see this? What is that? Is that rocks? I don't know. Y'all see this? You see that? Look at this. Look at it. It's just to show y'all. This is amazing. This looks just like the image that Kondrop put up with the earth pond. So, listen, y'all. I just want y'all to see this. And actually, these walkways, these could be underground. They don't have to be above. They could be underground going to the four corners of the earth. Because if you notice, they're like in corners. And I don't know where this one is going. And it looks like a lighthouse. That's what it looked like. But, all right, you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this. And I hope y'all love this picture because I do. All right. It's going to take a minute to upload. But y'all leave me a comment. Let me know if y'all want me to keep going. If not, I'm going to jump into another book. You know, I'll jump back around. Or, you know, I might, matter of fact, I think I'm going to go into the Florentine Codex and see if I can line any of this up from what I just read into the Florentine Codex. All right, my brothers and sisters, shalom, 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 Allahu Akbar.